Good afternoon, and it's Victoria Day afternoon. It's a vacation day for everyone but Stephen Evans and me. You know me, I'm Kusum Soni. We are still working. We love to work. And where we are sitting today, Stephen?
We're sitting at the Fraser Valley Artisan Food Hub, downtown Abbotsford, BC.
This is something new which I didn't know about. To tell you, I worked with Stephen for 3 years at Mission Community Skills Center, and I am making this true to the words that don't burn the bridges. Keep your relationships, working relationships live all the time, whether you work together or not. But I'm committed to work with Stephen no matter in what capacity, and I'm so amazed. Stephen gave me a tour of this food hub, which is going to come up as an amazing facility, which Stephen will talk about. And what are you going to talk today, Stephen?
Yeah, so I'll happily tell you about the food hub. So generally, Mission Community Skills Center has been delivering employment services for the past 25 years. And, we've taught all kinds of, innovative things like, how to work in the, customer service field, how to work in the printing field, how to work in, all the different fields, retail, manufacturing. But for me, when I started with Mission Skills about 5 years ago, I love food. And so we got involved in the food sector quite a bit. And so we run 4 employment programs right now. We run an ag, food and beverage YESS program for youth in Langley, where we teach them about how to work in a food processing facility. And we partner with industry and other service providers to provide expert training on what it's like to work in those facilities. We also run the manufacturing youth skills training. So if you want to work in warehousing and distribution, we teach young people on how to do that. And we just launched a new I program, which is empowering youth entrepreneurship over on the island and coast, Vancouver Island and coast. And we teach them about being an entrepreneur and how to run an entrepreneurial program. And of course, we also run Wildcraft Foods, which is one of our newest programs, and it teaches Indigenous youth food and entrepreneurship. So we're quite excited about those. The I program and the WILD program being added to our Express to Success program and our MIST Manufacturing Youth Skills Training program. And so so that's what we do as a society. And so when we set off to do these things, we were successful in doing them, and we got quite a lot of interest. But I thought, hey, is there a way that we can bridge from teaching in the classroom to real live brick and mortar? Kind of like, if you want to be a fireman or fire person, how do you learn to be a fire person? A fireman, you got to go to school and take classes, but you also got to go and work on learning how to put out fires. And so you go into burning buildings. They have these practice buildings in every little community. And if you're a volunteer fireman or a paid fireman, you go in and you learn to put out fire, because it's real world experience that you're getting. So that's what this food hub is about. This food hub is about helping those that are unemployed or those that are interested in becoming an entrepreneur learn skills from a practical perspective. So our food hub will be a certified kitchen, hopefully have HACCP readiness, where they can where they can produce a product, taste test it, and explore the food sector as a business, and then launch their business and get off to the races and going. And it's all about buying BC, growing BC, and manufacturing BC, and promoting that supply chain that we need to make here in British Columbia.
So you mean the program is about empowering people to become entrepreneurs and start their own business, not just making their resumes and cover letters and helping them look for jobs, but empowering them. They can start their own business. That's really exciting.
Yes.
I think I made a mistake leaving the organization that time. It was a very, very quick decision when all of us were laid out because of Work BC. But anyways, Right now, I'm also at a right place, working with the University of the Fraser Valley and doing lots of stuff. I'm a semi-entrepreneur, but maybe one day I will join hands with you and help in Food Hub if there will be any scope. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's an awesome idea. I grew up in Newfoundland, came out here 30 years ago. But in my journeys, I've had the chance to live in Toronto and places like that. And, I remember meeting Jamaican women in the mall that I worked at. And I remember how wonderful they were around their food dishes. And they would make these really interesting lunches, right? And they'd bring them to work with them. And I had a chance to explore their food with them. And I thought, oh, that's awesome, right? And I think Canada doesn't do a good enough job on that, encouraging different flavor profiles, encouraging different ethnic foods. And I think we need to do that more. And I'm hoping our Food Hub can do that. And, we can partner with you to explore creating a program to help celebrate culture through food. I'm absolutely into that.
A little bit of brief introduction which we did about the Food Hub. The idea came to me about in India, where my father's organization is there. They run one masala center. Masala means spice. So I'm thinking that that masala center or spice center can be started at your Food Hub, a multicultural spice center. That spices of South Asia, China, Vietnam, Korea, and Jamaica and Mexico, all those spices can be grouped together, and you can call it multicultural masala center or something like that. I'm already dreaming of working with you, Stephen, and I just took a round and I thought, which will be my office here? I'm just joking. I'm doing very good in what I'm doing. But I'm very excited what you're doing, and all the things which you mentioned, all are new funding, like Mission Community Skills Center is growing after those. So when one door closes, 10 more open, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So coming to the point, you mentioned that you would like to talk about employment sustainment program.
Yeah. So what I had mentioned was, in our field of study, Service Canada back in 1985, 84 created an assessment called the ACEC model, Assessment Components of Employment Counseling. And they divided the fields of study into 4 dimensions: career decision making, skills training, job search, and then for me, the most passionate one for me is employment maintenance. And so for a lot of people who are struggling with, abusive situations at home, or who are struggling with addictions, who are struggling with literacy, who are struggling with these kinds of barriers to employment, it's difficult for people to transition into employment if they have these significant barriers to employment. And so there's a whole field of study and lots of groups around that deal with employment maintenance issues. And you really can't get to the good stuff, like the career decision making and the skills training and job search, until you've dealt with employment maintenance issues. So, for instance, if a person has an addictions issue, sending them to school to get a trade doesn't really cut it. It doesn't cut the mustard. It isn't wise from a taxpayer investment perspective until you deal with first the addictions issue. Yes, a person should have a right to work and earn a living and the like, for sure, but they need to first deal with and have their wraparound supports around addictions in order to transition successfully into career decision making, job search, and skills training. And so my whole mantra has been about employment maintenance, and a large part of employment maintenance got to do with confidence. And we, as a society, tend to isolate those who have issues and or barriers to employment. And that's concerning to me. How can we be an inclusive society if we don't include people with addictions issues, or we don't include people who have literacy issues, or we don't include people who have self-confidence issues, if we don't include people who are on the margin? And so I'm hoping that our Food Hub includes people and is inclusive of different cultures and different levels of education and those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Because I think it's important for our society, in order to grow, is we need to help everyone grow along that trajectory, right?
So you mean inclusion means fusion, which goes very well with my title, my series, that fusion is not always a confusion.
That's right.
It is a confusion solver, actually.
Right.
So you're trying to fuse different cultures, include different cultures, and create a cohesive society through food.
That's right.
I think food is the best medium to enter into the heart.
Yes.
And I have experimented it when I used to volunteer with Sarah for Women, and I used to cook food for the street engaged women and go there with my South Asian food. And for a couple of months, nobody came to eat. But after that, they started saying, "Can you bring this? Can you bring that? Your rice pudding is very good. Your that dish is really good, chana masala and butter chicken and this and that." I said, "No, I'm only a vegetarian cook," but they opened their heart with me. So I have experimented this, that food is the best way to enter people's heart and know what are their needs and how we can satisfy their needs.
You know, to be perfectly honest with you, it breaks down barriers.
Yes.
We don't have to speak the same language. We don't have to have anything in common. But if we can sit together and break bread and enjoy a dish, you'll get a smile from me and I'll get a smile from you. We'll celebrate that food together. And I think that is one of the essence of life, right? Is food. And if we can use food to help build self-esteem, build confidence, bond us together better as a nation and as a community, I think that's wonderful, right?
Stephen, tell me a little bit more details about what type of food areas, and you were showing me this will be our bakery area, here will be our vertical garden, here will be the natural herbs, planters and all. You showed me, can you put those things for the words for our listeners so that...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please
Sure.
share a story.
So right now we're running the Wildcraft Foods program out of the Food Hub. We don't yet have a kitchen and all that. We're waiting for permission from the city and the like. Hopefully all goes good. Fraser Health's given us the nod. Our HACCP coordinator's given us the nod. Ministry of Ag, given us the nod. Municipal Affairs. I mean, it seems like everybody's on board. So this thing gets going. The idea here is to celebrate food, especially ethnic food. And one of the first foods that we need to celebrate is our indigenous food. And so we are running our Wildcraft Food program, which is about indigenous youth entrepreneurship who want to explore traditional food. So we're going to have cohorts of young people who are mostly living in urban centers go out into the woods and harvest and collect traditional food. Fiddleheads. Had fiddleheads the other day. Never had fiddleheads in my life. Have you ever had fiddleheads?
No, I'm listening for the first time.
Fiddleheads is it's kind of like a Brussels sprouts, but a wild version of it.
Okay.
Absolutely delicious. It's firm. When it just starts coming up out of the ground, it kind of turns over. It's absolutely delicious. Never had them before in my life. Had them the other day. I thought, wow, what a great, tasty, wild food that was harvested right here in BC. It is those kinds of things that we want to celebrate. And so we want to bring opportunities for young people to celebrate their culture through food and learn about their culture through food, and to allow us to experience that flavor as well. So our Food Hub will have a tasting kitchen where one of the places that we looked at in Oregon had a place where you could go and you could taste the food and give feedback to the entrepreneur on what they thought about how what the flavor profile was and that kind of stuff in the mouth, and what should be priced at, what it can be served with or paired with, and that kind of stuff. So we're looking to do that. So we're going to create events that celebrates local food, especially indigenous food, and other ethnic food as well, so that we as a society can promote our local food supply chain. Growing up in Newfoundland, I had the chance as a young boy to experience picking food or harvesting food from the woods. We picked berries, we picked greens, wild greens, we picked we fished, we hunt. We were able to bring a good amount of the food that we ate from the wild, and I think that we got to get back to that somewhat. And through our Indigenous community, it would allow us the opportunity to celebrate their food. If it's harvested sustainably and done right by them, this could be a real alternative to the traditional food we get at the grocery store.
While you're talking, lots of ideas are running into my head. For example, collaborating with the local growers and community gardens like Sherry Edmund Flitt. She has a community garden and a big Emma's Acres in Mission. So whatever food, the ingredients or the vegetables you're going to utilize in your food hub, creating a partnership with Sherry, you can grow the vegetables there and cook here. And same, because I sit on the Ethnocultural Advisory Committee of Prisons, CSE. So the prisons have a very good culinary program which they teach in the prisons. So as Sherry bring prisoners on day parole to work for a day or so, we can think of establishing a partnership with the prisons so that the inmates can come and work here or volunteer for day parole and work in your food hub and get your work experience, because they come in different places to work at, maybe in some gardens and all. I think the train of thought is running how I can support the food hub. I don't have to be employee of Mission Community Society. It's my time to give back, because I invested my 3 to 4 years at Mission Community Skill Center, and they have done a lot for me. Now I think it's my time to give back, maybe through ideas or actual, I don't know what our future is going to be shaped, but I'm ready to give my goodwill and ideas. Stephen, always happy to support you in whatever way you would like me to support.
Awesome. I will say, just right here on the wall behind me, we've gone already and started to identify who here in the Fraser Valley we should go target, that are growers, that are food producers, that we can harvest their local ingredients and convert them into a value-add product that we could potentially showcase here at the Food Hub. It's great that we have millions of pounds of blueberries, but I worked in that sector. I sold, I ran a very large co-op. I sold millions of pounds of raspberries and blueberries, and it was always raw ingredients that we shipped all over the world. Not a pound here in BC, not a pound in Western Canada. It was all done in large multinationals and into that global supply chain. We need to kind of get back to a place where we are celebrating local. So, why can't we take those blueberries and make blueberry muffins, or make blueberry pies, or make blueberry cakes or scones, or blueberry barbecue sauce? Like, why can't we make these kinds of things out of the products, the ingredients that we have, and celebrate local, right? And so my objective is to do exactly that. And we can do it through culture, because, a lot of the dishes that we eat that are really innovative and cutting edge, they are from other cultures. And if we can celebrate, because that's what Canada is. Canada is a collection of cultures from all around the world. We can, bring those flavor profiles and innovative dishes into the mainstream. I think we could turn a corner on what we're consuming and buying, and celebrate ourselves as British Columbians and as Canadians and the like, right?
So another train of thought which is going is because in the last 10 to 15 years I have invested a lot in the community, in Mission and Abbotsford. I have a good standing with our women who cook, pickling, carrots and cauliflower and all that. Those pickles are very common, so that pickling can be done, canning can be done, and involving those our elders into the program, so that writing a recipe book, so much can be done. I think this video is not the last one. We will create series of these kind of videos to keep you updated with Stephen. Stephen Evans from Mission Community Skills Center, and sometime on a working day, on a regular working day, I can come and interview some of their staff.
Yep.
And we'll continue from here. And what are your last words, Stephen, to close this message?
Yeah, so we're planning on opening in September.
Yes.
I would invite you down to see all of our shiny equipment and all our latest equipment in West End. I will tell you, if you can marry skills with technology and marry that with culture, and marry that with food, I think we got a crossroads on where we can go as a community.
How many marriages are you planning?
Well, four.
Four.
4 dimensions.
Four-dimensional marriages.
There you
Stephen
go. There you go.
is thinking big. I think nobody can lose weight coming to Food Hub. No, it's all about
Eating healthy.
eating healthy. Okay, we can still control our weight, but still enjoy our food. Eating food is not bad in controlled amounts, because in the very beginning, he said it's not a restaurant, it's a food tasting place.
That's right.
So when we taste, it's less.
That's right.
It's not only liquor for less, but it will be food for less.
That's right.
Thank you, Stephen. It's fun talking to and catching up. For a long time we haven't met because of pandemic, and it's my very, very respectful place where I worked, and no regrets of moving from there, because the condition was the funding was cut, otherwise I could retire here. But where I have gone at UFV, South Asian Studies Institute, that's also a very, very respectable place where I'm working.
Yes.
And we can do much together, and I'm always there for you, Stephen.
Yeah. Can I just say this here too? I would like to recognize that we are on the traditional territories of the Stolen people, and I appreciate them allowing us to work, live, and play on their lands.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.